What's going on, you guys? It's the Borderlands Guy, and I'm back with another video. And today we're going to be talking about the best flak build out there. This flak build is absolutely ridiculous. It completely deletes bosses, and it is the best crit build you will ever see. Now, this video is straight from my main channel, JDYO, where I post a bunch of different gaming content, including Borderlands stuff. I decided to start this channel to do Borderlands only content, so if you guys like my content, be sure to subscribe to my main channel and this channel right here. Again, this is straight from my other channel, so you guys are going to be seeing this on this channel and the other channel. But before we hop into the video, be sure to remember that this is a completely gear dependent flak build. Now, I'm working on a flak build that is not gear dependent, but as of right now, to be able to delete bosses the way that flak does, it has to be completely gear dependent. I'm working on a build that isn't gear dependent, but to be able to do what I'm doing to bosses in this video, it does have to be gear dependent. I'll go into that a little bit more in the video, so be sure to stay tuned, and let's hop right into it. Alright, so we're going to start in my skill tree section first. I'm not going to show you guys my gear because it's going to make a lot more sense what gear I'm using if I show you my skills first. So let's start in the stalker tree first. First off, you're going to put 3 points into self-repairing system. Flak's maximum health is increased and they constantly regenerate health. So pretty much you're just regenerating health, really self-explanatory. The next one you're going to be doing is furious attack. Hunter skill. After shooting an enemy, flak gains a stack of furious attack. For each stack of furious attack, flak's handling and gun damage is increased and their pet gains increased gun damage. Very self-explanatory. You're doing more damage. That's what everyone wants. Next one, overclocked. You're going to be putting 5 points into this one. Flak gains increased fire rate. Flak gains even more fire rate after reloading. Very self-explanatory. Next one, while moving, flak constantly regenerates health and gains damage reduction. While still, flak gains gun damage and fire rate. You're going to put 3 into that one, max that one out. And then you're going to go over to here, lick the wounds. You're just putting 1 to this one because you only can put 1. But it's where your pet can revive you. Very useful. If you go down and you need your pet to revive you, that's going to be awesome. And then you're going to put 3 into the fast and the furious. While above half health, flak's gun damage and movement speed are increased and their pet gains increased damage. It's very self-explanatory. That's it for the skill tree. Pretty much we wanted to spec all the way down to here so we could unlock this augment right here. Successive hits on the same target increase flak's critical damage per hit. Unblinking eye resets every 3 seconds. This is going to be incredibly important. This right here is how the build deletes bosses right here. If it wasn't for this, you would not be able to delete bosses the way that I did. So this is very important. You need this augment. That's why we spec'd into these skills to get down to this augment. So you're gonna have fadeaway equipped. Obviously this is a fadeaway build, and you're gonna have the first augment, this one, the gorillas in the mist. Fadeaway no longer ends after flak attacks at the cost of a critical hit damage, and fadeaway duration being reduced. And then also this one right here that I just talked about, the critical hit damage one. So unblinking eye and gorillas in the mist are the augments that you want equipped for fadeaway. Now these are both really important, especially this one right here, so that you don't end fadeaway when you shoot it. You could shoot however many times you want, you just have a limited fadeaway time. So that's going to be very important as well. Let's go over to the next tree, the master tree. So this one we're not specking into hardly at all, but the first one we're going to do is persistence hunter. Increases gun damage and action skill duration, very self-explanatory. And the next one, these next two right here really are not important at all. We just had to get down to frenzy. So just put 1 into go for the eyes and 1 into ferocity. They're really not important at all. I just put 2 into this so we could get down to the frenzy one, which is really good. Hunter skill, when flak's pet deals damage, flak and their pet gain a stack of frenzy. Each stack of frenzy increases damage. The stacks decay after a few seconds. You're going to be doing a whole lot more damage. Very nice. You can do a ton of damage once these stack a lot more. You're just doing more base damage. It's really, it's a good skill. It's very worth specking into. And because of the extra points you get from the level cap being increased to 57, it's pretty easy to dump some points into here. You're not really sacrificing anything else. So with that being said, let's go over to the hunter skill tree. This is the best one right here. This is, we're going to be specking all the way down. As you can see, we're pretty much filling in most of the tree. What you're going to do is you're going to put 2 points into interplanetary stalker. Interplanetary stalker. It's a hunter kill skill. Whenever flak kills an enemy, they gain a stack of interplanetary stalker for each stack, and they and their pet gain a bonus to all damage dealt. So you're just getting a damage bonus. Really, it's not awesome. It's not the worst, but it's not awesome. That's when we only put 2 into it. Next one, you're gonna max out leave no trace. When flak scores a critical hit, there is a chance for 1 ammo to be added back in their magazine. This one is important. This one is very, very, very important. It really, incredible. This one right here is why I can do what I can do. This is the one you need to spec into a lot. Leave no trace is what you need. So spec 3 3 points into that one. The next one is head count. Whenever Flak scores a critical hit, there's a chance their action skill cooldown is reduced. This one is also very important. It's not dependent on what I just did, but it's also really important. It helps a ton because every time you score a critical hit, you're pretty much going to be getting your action skill back. So it's really, really important that you have all 3 points spec'd into this one. The next one you're going to do is you're going to spec 5 points into Hunter's Eye. Flak gains bonuses when fighting different types of enemies. This one is pretty important. Different types of enemies give you different bonuses. It's pretty nice. It's not super required, but it's really nice, and it just helps you get down the skill tree even more. I have an extra point because of my class mod, but it's pretty good. I've noticed it help a lot. You're going to put 4 points into Two Fang. Flak has a chance to fire an extra projectile per shot. Pretty important, pretty nice. Not too bad, not too good. I mean, it's pretty good. An extra projectile is always nice. And then this one, big game. Flak's Hunter skill becomes much more effective and has a longer duration. This one is very important. Stack 3 into that one. You want 3 put into that one. You get a longer duration of your kill skills, which is really nice, and that's something that everyone wants. Kill skills to last longer is always going to make you a lot better. Now, I have 2 points into this one just because my class mod, but it's not important. I would not suggest putting any points into the most dangerous game. Now, Grim Harvest, you want 4 points into. Flak gains increased gun damage and action skill damage. Very self-explanatory. Next one, Galactic Shadow. Flak deals an increased critical hit damage and enemies are less likely to attack them. That is a very good one. I really like this one a lot. Increased critical hit damage is very important. Critical hit is pretty much the whole basis of this build, is doing critical hit damage. So anything that helps critical hit is going to help a lot. Now, this point right here is really, really nice. Megavore. Flak gains a chance to score a critical hit with weapons against any part of enemies. This is incredibly important. Again, critical hit damage is the main part of this build. You want to be scoring as many critical hits as possible to be getting fade away back up and to be doing more and more and more damage. It's very important that you have critical hits. So those are the trees. Those are very in detail, all the points that you want to spec into. Now let's go into the gear, which is very dependent for this build. The whole build is centered around the double penetrating shredded bang stick, or just a bang stick in general. The bang stick is incredible. That was the shotgun I was using when I showed you guys just deleting bosses. What it does is it shoots pellets that explode once you reload or switch your weapon. Now, because of the skills that we spec'd into, when you're in fadeaway, every single hit is a critical hit. And when you hit critical hits, if you guys remember those skills that we spec'd into, when you hit critical hits, you have a chance to add an ammo back to your magazine. Now, because we're doing so much damage with all these different pellets from the bang stick, we are pretty much every single time adding an extra bullet into our magazine every single time, which means we're not having to reload while we're in fadeaway. So we just shred that critical hit spot with the bang stick over and over and over until fadeaway ends, and then once fadeaway ends, we reload or swap our weapon, which activates those bombs, which does all these critical hits, and critical hits are doing a ton of damage, and that's really what activates this entire build. You do extra damage because of the skills we've spec'd into from critical hits, and then that just deletes bosses. It really is. This gun is ridiculous. Now, as you guys can see, I have a times 18 multiplier. I have an 18 pellet bang stick. Now, the 9 pellet bang sticks are very, very common, and the 9 pellet ones do not work as well as the 18 pellet ones do. They still do some damage, but it will not delete bosses like I'm showing you. So, you need an 18 pellet bang stick. At times 18, the damage is 664 times 18. You want a times 18 multiplier to do 18 pellets of damage. It is ridiculous. I promise you, it's worth the farming. It's worth the looking for to get a times 18 bang stick. This thing will delete every single boss. And with that being said, since this is what you're using, because of the skills that we spec'd into, any gun that you're using is going to be pretty decent. It's going to do well. The Lob, the Old Ridian's going to do well, even the Lyuda. Pretty much anything you can use is going to do well. It's going to do decent enough for you to kill enemies, but if you're killing bosses and wanting to delete bosses, it's the bang stick you're going to want to use. Everything else will just be kind of decent. Now, as far as everything else, any shield will work. Any shield that you want that works for you, just use. The shield really is not necessary. The shield is just kind of there to help you out when you're not killing bosses, when you're mobbing around. So really the shield isn't dependent on this build at all. The grenade mod is not dependent on this build at all whatsoever. I hardly use grenades as it is. I really don't use them ever at all. So equip whatever grenade mod you want. Now the class mod really is not dependent either, but it does help a lot. I really like the bounty hunter class mods. Pretty much anything that you can get extra points into frenzy in and hunter in is going to help you a lot, which are these skills right here, frenzy and hunter's eye. This is hunter's eye right here. Frenzy is the other one that I talked about in the blue skill tree. Pretty much anything that adds points into those ones is going to help you a lot and do a lot more than pretty much anything else. Extra points into frenzy just means extra damage basically, which is going to be helping you out a lot. But again, really, Other class mods work out really well. The class mod really isn't super dependent on this build. And then the artifact, any artifact you want. It's really nice. The shield, the grenade, the artifact, and the class mod really do not matter a whole ton. Just get anything that gets you a bunch more damage, and you just need the bang stick. This is what I mean by gear dependent. You have to have the bang stick if you want to delete bosses the way that I showed you, and it really needs to be a ×18 multiplier if you want to delete bosses the way that I showed you. Alright everybody, now that I've showed you the skill tree and everything you want to spec into, I'm going to walk you through my mentality when I'm killing a boss, what's happening, how your skills are affecting the way that you're deleting bosses, things like that. I'm literally going to walk you through how to do this and why it works the way it works. And first off, the biggest tip I need to show you guys have to realize this bang stick right here, it can switch between different modes of firing. See, watch, the first mode that you're already always in, it explodes on impact. The mode you need to be in is the mode where it explodes when you reload, like that right there. You need to be able to explode when you reload. You have to switch the mode. A lot of people are always saying that they can't find a bang stick that explodes when you reload. Well, it's because it's the variant. It's a different variant right here. Like, you switch between variants. Every bang stick you find will do this. You just have to switch between the different modes, and it will work if you do that. You have to, for Xbox, it's down on the D-pad. It switches between the different modes. I don't know what it is for PS4 and PC. It's the same way you switch between elements. If you have a gun that can do shock and fire damage, it's the same way you switch between those. Just switch the different gun mode right there. I promise you, a lot of people are going to be really confused about that. It's not a type of bang stick. It's just the bang stick that you can switch between different modes. That's just how the bang stick works. That's how the shotgun works. So with that out of the way, I want to go in and walk through how you're going to be deleting bosses, what's going to be happening, things like that. Things to keep in mind before you start deleting the boss is to realize that when you are hitting critical hits, you're getting an extra bullet added to your magazine without having to reload. So when I hit fadeaway, every single shot I hit is critical. Because of those skills we spec'd into, every single shot you hit in fadeaway is a critical, which means every single shot you hit will be adding more ammo to your magazine. So watch this right here. I'm going to wait for his critical spot to be exposed, and then I pop fadeaway, and then boom, I'm popping as many critical hits as I can into his critical hit spot, just like that, and keep going and going and going. Notice how I didn't have to reload. Now I'm reloading, which activates all the bombs, and look at that health just get shredded. Boom, look at that, man. Notice how we didn't have to reload because we were in fadeaway. When you're in fadeaway, every single shot you hit is a critical shot, which is very important to this build. Every single shot you hit while in fadeaway is critical, which means you're getting an extra bullet added to your magazine. And then once I activated all those bullets to explode, they were on his critical hand. That's where his critical spot was. So every bullet that exploded of all those shots that I laid into him were critical shots, and they were explosions, and those skills that we spec'd into that does extra critical hit damage just made it even better. So everything mixed together, all of those just destroyed. And look at that, I even got another bang stick right here. But notice it doesn't have a ×18 multiplier, which is the one that you really need. That's a really bad bang stick. It doesn't even have a multiplier. But anyways, that's pretty much how this works the way that it does. When you are hitting critical shots, you get an extra bullet added into your magazine. You don't have to reload. Really super nice. That's pretty much why it works the way that it does. You do the extra critical hit damage, you do the extra damage in general, everything mixed together while all those pellets are exploding at the same time. It's just ridiculous, and it will delete any boss that you find. The really nice thing about flak also as well in this build is that every single one of those criticals that explode on Graveward, all of my little pellets that exploded are critical hits, and every critical you hit has a chance to make your cooldown rate way quicker on your flak fadeaway. So pretty much every single one of those bullets have a chance to make your flak cooldown way quicker, and because of how many there are, every single time you do this and you hit a critical with those bullets, it's going to make your flak come back instantly. So if you miss a few shots and things like that don't work out super crazy well, you have to use the bang stick one more time to explode someone or something like that, then you have your flak fadeaway back already. Because of all this critical stacking, you pretty much always will have your flak up as long as you're hitting criticals. So that's pretty much all that I have to show you guys for this build. I really hope that this was helpful for you. I promise you, if you get a ×18 bang stick, you will delete bosses. It's amazing. I love this build. It's so much fun to play as. It breaks the game. I love it. It's so much fun. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed it. I post 3 times a week very consistently. Don't forget to check out my Borderlands only channel. The link is in the description below. Be sure to check out that one as well. And thank you guys for watching. I'm JDYO. Peace out.